You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, King Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Game of Thrones After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Game of Thrones After Show.
And in a very, very dark episode of Game of Thrones, I would say, a lot of cruel things happening this sode. I'm referring to as sode now, not just episode.
Yeah, I like it.
But guys, Bing is for doing, and we are doing the AfterBuzz TV Game of Thrones After Show. I am Dave Klein, and joining me, as always, the ever so lovely Kristen Snyder and Simone Boyce. I was waiting for you to introduce yourself after I said that.
Do it.
I'm Kristen Snyder, in case you didn't get it the first time.
And I'm Simone Boyce.
And
you guys don't know that.
But you do, because you've been watching, right? Yes.
Yay!
So, joining us today on the ones and twos, Ronnie's not here, but we've got Marissa.
Ew.
Hey,
How's it
everybody.
going?
Marissa in the booth. Happy to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to fill in for Ronnie, you know, so just think of me as like the female Ronnie.
You're not
doing
trying to
her
fill in, you're doing, like Bing.
I am doing
Because
it
Bing is
like
for
Bing.
doing, and Marissa is doing the ones and twos.
All right, let's have a great show, guys.
in the control
All right.
room. So, let's jump in and talk about, well, first let's go with the intro, because we have a new location here, which is Qarth.
Yeah.
Qarth has been thrown in, and what did you guys think of the city?
In the
Beautiful.
intro, or?
Both. How about both?
I agree with Kristen. It was beautiful.
I was like, okay, is that a backdrop? What exactly is that? What is that?
I'm
what are they
imagining there was
throwing
just a
out there?
giant green screen behind that door.
Yeah, I'm pretty
so
sure.
they could throw in, but yeah, pretty
Yeah.
tropical, pretty amazing.
I would want to live there. That's probably where I
That's
would
what
pick
I was thinking.
to live.
I was like, I wanna go there. I wanna be there right now.
Greatest city on the world. On the world.
On the world.
Earth. On the world.
It looks like Atlantis or like El Dorado or something. Like how I
it
would
does.
picture those cities
I like the
looking.
Maldives. That's
Yeah.
what I was
I'd
thinking
say
of.
just like a super tropical location in the middle of the desert. But let's also talk about, let's move on then to the end, actually.
the
Let's
most
get to the end.
shocking part of the episode.
Yeah.
What happened there? I mean, were they kind of planning to do that? To go off into the caves, and did Davos know this was happening? I mean, what exactly was the plan going into that whole scene?
Davos has no idea.
Yeah, I'm going to say I don't think even Stannis
Stannis.
necessarily knew that that was going to happen. But she's like, and you're going to see me naked, just so you know. Boom, preggers, what's up?
Her pregnant stomach looked amazing though. Like she actually looked like pregnant.
Yeah, how did they do that?
I don't even know. But yeah, Davos has no idea. And one of the things that's interesting about the show this season is they showed early on in the last couple of episodes that Stannis and Melisandre are having an affair.
Yeah.
And Stannis's seed is he's Melisandre's shadow baby daddy, basically.
Yeah.
He's the shadow baby daddy.
But was it a boy? Yeah. That's all he wants.
Looks asexual.
As long as
to
it's
me.
a boy, it's okay with Stannis, right? Now he's got an heir to the throne.
I wrote like devil monster.
Yeah.
Pregnant with the devil monster. I mean, what was that, and what can we expect? I mean, I guess they don't need numbers to win a war as long as they have that thing on.
I called it some ghost demon shit.
Yeah.
Even though it's the shadow, that's just a fun way for me to refer to it. That was probably, there's been a lot of disturbing things that's happened on this show so far. I would say that was for me the most disturbing thing.
That kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
Like, how do you guys feel about it?
Well, that was quite a shocker of a finale. I mean, just because, like, when you read that scene in the books, obviously none of us have ever seen a shadow baby, so we can't even imagine what that's going to look like. So
what that implies exactly.
Yeah, so seeing it like crawl out with those long, scary fingernails and stuff, that I love the CGI of it. I thought it was really
First, you guys got the smoke pouring out too.
Yeah.
Like, we got smoke coming out.
I didn't know what to expect, if there was going to be like some like placenta coming out. I was just like, whoa, what is about to happen?
And Melisandre was very creepily excited about this whole birth.
Yes.
Was that like a crown around her neck, and was she bleeding?
That's really special ruby.
Yeah.
That was a ruby. Okay. It looked like it was digging into her neck, and I was kind of expecting her to be like committing some kind of weird suicidal ritual thing.
They didn't really show it
bleeding
in the former episode where the whole poisoning happened, but in the books they kind of talk about it when she is surviving that poison drink. Her necklace is glowing, so it's kind of there, but it's more subtle before, and they didn't really. I guess harp on it in the show, so now we get to see it featured a lot more.
I thought it was really cool to see them, like, because that's a really small detail to, like, try and put into the show, so I thought it was cool to actually see the globy.
It's not just a ruby, it's a globy.
Hey, for word creation. It's a glowing ruby, aka globy.
I mean, I didn't get that it was glowing. I thought it was blood.
Well, that blood and fire, I think that's the essence of it.
She just creeps me out.
Yeah.
I don't like her at all.
She's a religious fanatic. She's crazy.
Well, I mean, if you're that excited about giving birth to one of those things, that's very creepy, I would say.
Yes.
At this point, I feel like Stannis is completely just like, I don't know.
Mind-washed?
Mind-washed, brainwashed. Like,
Under her
he's not
spell.
there. He's not there. And the way he was talking to his brother, I mean, even Catelyn was like, have you guys forgotten that your blood and your brothers? It's like, he's not even there. I don't know who's operating his body. Maybe another shadow baby is in there, but he is just, it just seems like he's not even really there.
Well, I mean, he's always been pissed off at Renly anyway, so it's not like he's ever happy with Renly about anything. But you know what? I think the whole reason that we could see the globy so much this episode was because when you think about it, that's really all she was wearing. So maybe that's why you noticed. She didn't really have anything else on. So I'm just going to throw that out there.
The globy was probably covered up by, like, her clothes, her red clothes
Her
before.
many clothes.
Yeah.
Yes. But guys, before we jump on the first topic, I do need to point out that we do this show for free because we love doing it. We love talking about Game of Thrones. And one thing that we love is if you guys could show support in any way, whether it be going on iTunes and commenting, because we love reading your comments, and we'll get to them later because we do love seeing them, even if it's hate, whatever.
We'll respond to those.
But
trolls.
The other thing we love is if you ever need to buy anything from Amazon, just go to the link from our website and buy whatever you want. You don't even need to buy AfterBuzz merchandise. Just whatever you're going to buy anyways. If you click on the link from our website, it'll help support us. We really appreciate it. Or, I mean, go on Amazon and buy some globies, for goodness sake.
Buy some Game of Thrones costumes.
Like what Kristen's wearing over there. Some Sansa
action.
after being torn up.
From Amazon, and this is Sansa's closet material, and this is after the tear.
Yes. Post-tear Sansa.
Post-tear on the show. This is what happened.
Yeah.
And you can get that by going to Amazon.
Going to Amazon. Or this amazing armor. Look at the fine detail on the gold work.
Is that a Kraken?
It might be a Kraken. Actually, I think I had Gendry forge me a helm that I haven't brought, but I got it off of Amazon. Thank you, Gendry.
You know, HBO is actually having a contest where you can go to their website and win a crown. The Renly's crown.
Yeah, you can win either Renly's crown or you can win it's Joffrey or Renly's crown. So all you need to do is go to HBO.com and give them your email address. They do threaten to possibly spam you with everything ever if you do that. But if you want to have a chance of freely winning those things other than the millions of spam, why not create a fake email account? You didn't hear from me, but create a fake email account.
Globy8112.
There you go.
At gmail.com.
Globy8112. And just put your email in, and you don't even need to pay money. You just are entered automatically into a drawing for either Joffrey or Renly's crown. Girls, which would you rather win, out of curiosity?
I just hate Joffrey, so let's go for Renly's crown.
I love Renly's crown. I think it's so cool. It's so true to the family. It's like straight up just stag things.
Yeah, it is very stag. Yeah, and very earthy. It looks kind of wooden.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Joffrey's because it looks kingly and because I'm a jerk and an asshole and I kind of look like him. So there we go.
All those work. Okay, so Lannisters, let's get to it. The biggest highlight is just when Joffrey has those women in his room. And wow, I think that was actually my favorite part of the episode, even though it's so like grim and you don't want to think that's your favorite. It was the most dramatic to me.
I'm starting to realize, I think, that like the amount of sex that HBO is throwing into the show, like I'm getting used to it, and you're
starting to enjoy the sex positions is what you're saying.
I'm not. I think they're using it to show the depravity of the characters that are involved in those scenes. Like that's what they did with Littlefinger's sex scene, that whole scene in the brothel. And this one also with Joffrey was just like, whoa. Like, and also, just for a little fun factoid for you guys, Maisie D, she's the naked lady that stars opposite Roz in this scene with Joffrey. She is actually trained for this kind of stuff. She was an ex-porn star.
Very well trained.
Yeah.
She's actually living the dream.
So she actually loved this scene.
Stop and rewind, ladies. Stop and rewind.
Living the dream.
Right there. You can learn it straight from the porn star.
Yeah.
So something to point out is that this scene is not in the books.
Right.
And I don't know. You know what? I don't really know if it was necessary. I'm a guy here, so you know what? I do like sex stuff, and I like seeing naked girls, and I really don't know if I needed this scene.
I needed it.
And you know what? You needed it because you loved it.
No, you know what? Because it really helps with Joffrey's character development, especially when Tyrion refers to him as the Mad King, and he's like referencing him.
I did like that reference.
We absolutely need it because that's how we're believing that he is like the Mad King, and he's just crazy. And without scenes like that, it's not believable. You
know, I think that's a good point. It does come directly after that comparison, directly afterwards. It's not. There's no break. It goes right into that. But the one thing I will say is I loved that they had Joffrey with the crossbow finally because they talk about it all the time in the books. And it's not necessarily a Sansa, but he loves his crossbow. He loves that thing. And the one big thing that Tyrion does in the books is he gets Joffrey a present of a triple crossbow that shoots at 3 crossbows, 3 arrows. What? So I guess they kind of replaced the triple crossbow with a sex scene with 2 whores and a crossbow. But I mean, that's 3 items there, I guess. 2 whores and a crossbow.
When he was like, okay, so when he was in the bedroom with them and like winding up the crossbow, I was like, that is one crazy sex toy. I didn't know what he was going to do with it.
I didn't know he was going to threaten with it. That's what I was thinking too, is he going to try and have them use that as a sex toy or something too?
But I think also, not only does this scene, help us really see Joffrey as honestly insane at this point, but he also wants to get Tyrion back for this gift because Tyrion gave him this gift and he can't stand his uncle. They always, Tyrion is threatening him all the time and I think he makes Joffrey very uncomfortable. So by abusing these whores that Tyrion sent over in good stead and good nature, that's like Joffrey's like, screw you, uncle.
I was really hoping we'd get to see what she looked like in the end. I mean, come on, HBO. Spend some money. Do you think we'll get to see that next week? Because, I mean, that's kind of like whenever Ned Stark's head was in there and we didn't get to see that. Like, come on, HBO. We need to see a little bit of blood.
I think there was a head we got to see. We got to see a head that was thrown back, right?
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they keep almost showing us stuff, and I want to see more. Like, we didn't even get to see what she looked like all bloodied after they hit her, and I felt like that was kind of the highlight of the scene. I wanted to see it.
You're sick.
Kristen is the Mad King Joffrey.
Yeah, this is our Mad King on set.
Give me the throne.
I don't know. I kind of like the rabbits. Those are so much more innocent than the books. That's all he wanted to do is shoot at rabbits.
Rabbits don't have boobs,
but you know what,
Dave.
though? I kind of... Oh, good point. Yeah. You know what, though? I think...
Well, maybe they do.
I think Joffrey doesn't have a penis because... Well, I mean, he doesn't... What? I mean, I'd take advantage of that and then maybe do those things. Like, okay, I wouldn't do those things. But still, like, really,
He's like
Joffrey...
really young, though, still. Like, that's what makes
what
that
do you
scene
think
even more dark.
13-year-old kids want?
I know.
That is all they want.
Crossbows.
crossbows
and bunnies.
And bunnies. I think he's almost more of a kid in the book, I think, than he is here.
Yeah.
I think that maybe that's kind of what the difference is. In the books, he's kind of drawn out more of a kid because he loves his crossbow toy that he has, and here they're kind of treating him more as an adult.
Yeah.
I think that maybe is it.
I mean, like they referred to in the show, he likes to pick wings off of flies, and I feel like that is what he's doing. He's picking on everything. Like a little boy, he's like trying to terrorize everything. That's what little boys do.
Yeah.
I know.
I didn't do that, but whatever. I did not pick wings off of flies. But I don't know. I feel like it wasn't necessarily that he wanted to get back at Tyrion. I think he wants to one-up Tyrion in a sense where like Tyrion just kind of insulted him in front of everybody. So it's not that he's like, oh, I don't like Tyrion, so I'm going to do this because I don't like him. It's almost like showing him up like, you know what? Whatever. How about this? So I think it's more of a one-up type of thing. Like, well, I can do this. You're not the only one who can play this game.
Totally.
So let's move on to what happened with Lancel and Tyrion.
Yeah.
With Lancel coming in and Tyrion playing it a little smart.
Lancel was actually one of the ones who was egging Joffrey on in the court. He was the one who sort of contributed to Sansa's ridicule. But yeah, Lancel just looks pathetic in that scene with Tyrion.
Pathetic. He looks like a little girl.
Yeah, as do a lot of.
Those are what the beautiful men in this show look like, apparently. They look kind of like girls.
So why does Cersei really care about Pycelle? I mean, I know he was like her little like secret scavenger, like he found out all the secrets that was going on, but like why does she really want him back? I'm sure she has like 5 more people going in between everybody.
Well, I think it's more that she knows Pycelle is getting really old, and he's really only good for one thing, and that's loyalty. Like, he's loyal to her at all costs. Maybe it's this whole thing that he wants to get in Cersei's pants, too, because apparently everyone in the realm does. But I think that he's just been loyal to her, and, you know, throughout Ned Stark's sort of dealings in King's Landing, I think he was loyal to her through that, too, and just giving her all the insider info that she needed to know.
I mean, I think beyond that, it's just another case of Tyrion tearing apart all of her trusted ones. That like first it was I'm not remembering his name, but the guy who's part of the guard, the King's Guard, Janos Slynt.
Yes.
First it was Janos Slynt, and now it's Pycelle. So he's just slowly tearing apart her ranks, and I think that is why she's pissed. Because like this is just another one that Tyrion's just getting rid of.
So I'm also excited to see what he looks like because apparently he's been harmed.
I think it was just his beard.
That's it? Yeah. I feel like there's got to be more that's been done.
Well, that's why he was like kind of joking about it, was because he was like, well, I guess I have harmed a hair on his body.
Yeah.
Because he harmed the hair off of his face, and that was it.
I think another reason why Cersei wants Pycelle back is because you look at the small council, like she can't trust Varys because Varys is just all over the place. You can't trust Littlefinger because
who can't trust Littlefinger?
Right. He's in love with Catelyn Stark. Who knows what he's going to do? So she really only has Pycelle.
It's true.
So something that I'm wondering that the show just hasn't done that's kind of been the strong point throughout the books is where are the war preparations and there's a big battle in the books between Cersei and Tyrion with the war preparations, where Tyrion, all Cersei wants is war preparations, and she's not letting people get fed, she's not doing things properly, and Tyrion's actually smart about it, and that's another big boiling point with them that I thought was actually kind of a cool happening in the book that I would have liked to have seen more of, but they just really haven't shown anything. And I don't know if they will next episode or at some point, but maybe not.
In the trailers, we've seen this reoccurring scene of Cersei and sort of her guards and stuff being torn apart by riots in the capital. So I think all that stuff will come to a head at one point.
Makes sense.
All right, well, let's move on to the Starks.
Yes.
We've got Robb is back in action. So we've got Robb finds a lady he just might be curious about.
Yeah. I think, Cullis or Talissa.
Why do you think he likes her?
Well, I mean, wouldn't you be attracted to a woman who's sawing off a man's leg?
Well, I think absolutely.
It's a loaded question.
I think you should be asking me this because I'm the one who would have this input on that.
I can't say no to that. She's probably a really manly woman.
I don't know. I like a girl who can get down and not be queasy about the whole blood thing.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think it's really because she challenges him, unlike all the other ladies who will just bow down and take it.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
And she's pretty cute, so
Yeah.
and I'm sure in a realm like that, you find a girl who's attractive and kind
not,
of
like,
smart, intelligent.
But I mean, who wants stuff that comes easy? So the fact that she challenges him is, I think, what really attracts him.
Well, okay, I don't know how to approach this because she goes by a different name in the book, and I don't know what this alias thing is that she's doing, but I really like the actress's portrayal of this character that is in the book. I thought Una Chaplin did a really good job at challenging Rob and being just really kind of spicy. I love those spicy female characters in this. And Rob also meets Roose Bolton, who's
kind of advising him a little bit there.
Yeah.
So what
pretty
should we know
interesting
about
change.
Roose? I mean, I felt like he just kind of came out of nowhere.
Well,
I mean, he does in the show. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no
I
introduction
know.
here.
So
Yeah.
it's like I feel like you guys are further ahead than I am in the books. So what should we know about him? He just was like briefly there. I mean, I feel like they did this episode with a couple characters where unless you've gotten to this point in the books, you're kind of like, wait, what? Who is this?
Yeah.
Well, Roose was actually at Harrenhal, and Arya, okay, this is maybe skipping ahead a little bit, but I think it's important to talk about Roose. We see Arya in this episode, she becomes Tywin's cupbearer. In the book, she actually becomes Roose Bolton's cupbearer.
Oh, okay.
So Roose Bolton is now not at Harrenhal, which I don't know how this is all going to work.
Yeah, they are really changing a lot up with, especially the Arya storyline, more so than most.
Yeah,
Which I guess we can kind of jump on next because that's what we're getting to, which is there are a lot of differences that I love to point out. But I guess first let's actually talk about Harrenhal because we get to see Harrenhal.
Yes.
And it looks awesome.
I actually got goosebumps. It looks so scary.
It was, and they'd had that like low angle where it was just like
Yes.
huge.
So all you ever hear about Harrenhal is cursed and like no one can hold it for very long, and now it looks like it. But it's funny, though, because everybody at the same time wants it. So everybody wants this place, even though it's totally cursed. So
And it smells like dead people. Can they? What do you use to get that out?
we also get
What kind of Febreze would work there?
Pine Sol.
we also get in the books
Pine
Hot Pie is
Sol.
afraid that there's ghosts there. Yeah, Pine Sol for dead people.
Sorry.
Did they make a Febreze for dead people?
Yeah, I think I just saw that commercial.
You can get it on Amazon.
Nice
Yeah.
job.
It's right to the left of the Globies, so just
Yeah, Globies,
Yeah.
and we're gonna create our own like
Inventory.
unique inventory of the AfterBuzz Game
We
of
should.
Thrones
Absolutely.
items.
Everything that I wear will be on our.
So we've got. I'm gonna write this
you can
down.
bid on it for charity.
We've got Globies, and now we have Febreze for dead
No,
people.
you know what we're gonna do with the money? We're gonna give it to HBO and tell them we want more blood and battles.
Yes.
That's true.
They clearly don't have money for this.
We're gonna see battle soon. I think.
So something I did like that we didn't get necessarily mention the name, but we got to see Tickles.
Yeah,
And we
Tickler.
never mentioned his name, but Tickles is the guy torturing all the poor souls who he questions and then kills anyways.
And what exactly is he torturing them about? The Brotherhood?
Yeah.
There's like a load of questions that's like, I mean, in the book, it's like he's questioning about where is gold? Where can I find gold? Where I can get money? Who is this brotherhood that I should be watching out for? Where are all the people who might be fighting us? He has like a lot of questions that he doesn't necessarily get through in here. But yeah, so I like that we got to see him at least, and he's sort of, I guess, what I thought of him as, which is just this guy who just does not give a crap that he's torturing people.
He's just enjoying whatever Westerosi snack he's munching on and just tickling people. What the heck is going on with those rats? Are they
They're
like
tickling.
but are they literally like eating through them?
I think the idea is that they want to get away from the fire, so they're going to dig through and whatever they can to escape the fire.
That could be like the worst form of torture ever.
That's why he's Tickles.
I thought the worst form of torture I'd ever seen was on Lost when they would stick bamboo shoots under your fingernails.
That was pretty bad. I liked that show.
Oh god, this is horrible.
So we also get, and here's some things from the book coming back now. Now the mountain is here, where in the book he was the one who captured them and brought them to Harrenhal. Now he's already at Harrenhal. So a little different, but they brought him back. and they have that happen. And also a whole different thing with Gendry, where they try to make Tywin look smarter by having him say, you fools, ask them what their professions are so we can use them. Like, he gets out of Gendry that Gendry's a smith, so they can use Gendry. Whereas in the books, they had it so they were already smart enough to have figured out, oh, well, let's keep everyone who has professions we can use, like a smith, and use them for our aid. They'd already figured that stuff out. So I guess it's just a way for them in the show to just show instantly, Tywin's smarter than everybody else.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the analogy to make there for why they made that choice.
And also, interesting to note that it's a new mountain. It's not Conan Stevens from last season. The new mountain's name is Ian White. And I thought while he did look a lot like Conan Stevens in the face, he seemed a little more scrawny.
Yeah, he didn't seem as, like,
big
this
and
imposing
So
guy.
why did they switch?
Conan just had some scheduling issues, I believe. He's a stunt actor, and he works on, I want to say Spartacus, but don't quote me on that. But yeah,
I'm quoting you.
So is he gonna come back? I mean, this is only.
I mean, I guess this is too late.
I mean, what were you thinking? This is the best show on television.
I know, but I guess if you don't have I mean, the mountain doesn't say too much until later on, so I guess he was probably like, well,
I guess at the end of the day, it's also what money are they
that's
offering
true.
me in that whole situation, and timing. So it's like I can get more money and do other things. So I don't know. It's sad. I did like. I don't dislike this guy, but the other one was so imposing looking.
Yeah, he was.
So let's also throw out Arya listing names.
Yeah,
Is that what you're about to say?
It is.
Ah, okay.
Just like Yoren told her to, right? Like,
Yeah.
He did this with his brothers, Killer William.
Yeah.
At night, he would seek revenge on the people, and now she's doing this with the
Right.
people that she's seeking revenge on. She's just constantly repeating their names, which may drive her a little crazy.
Just maybe. But you know what? In the book, though, you don't have that scene with Yoren, and her reasoning for doing this is that she used to always, let's say, gods, and now they're away from their gods back home. And instead, she doesn't even care about her gods anymore. These are the only names she wants to remember, or these people she needs to get back at.
I almost pictured her whispering this when I was reading in the book. I almost pictured her whispering it when she went to sleep. But she's actually like saying it pretty loud. I mean, there's rain coming down, so I don't think anybody could hear her. But she was saying it louder.
You know what?
Than I
think
expected.
it's just for our viewing pleasure.
Yeah.
If anything, I imagined her just thinking the names. I didn't even think of her saying it out loud.
I mean, I would have rathered her been like in a little sleep state,
right? And
whispering
like
them. It would have been more
dozing
believable.
off.
Now she's just kind of sitting there like she's crazy, saying these names over and
Tywin
over.
Lannister, Joffrey Lannister,
Yeah.
Cersei,
the
Hound, or no?
She had
the
even more names in the book because there's also Tickler. Well, no, actually, Tickler, she was afraid of Tickler. Tickler was the only one that she didn't hate because she was too afraid to hate Tickler. He was too scary, that man.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens now that she's Tywin's cupbearer as opposed to Roose Bolton's. I mean, okay, another thing. When did they find out in the books, refresh my memory, when did they find out that she's a girl?
They do find out, well, Gendry finds out
right
before they get captured. He has found out, but only the two of them. And then they figure out pretty much right away that she's a girl because she's surrounded by people and she has to pee somehow.
Yeah.
So they figure it out because she has to pee in front of everybody. So they know, but nobody cares.
That scene made me so nervous when Tywin was like, "You're a girl." I was expecting him to be like, "You're Arya Stark." Like,
but we've seen the coming in the previews, and we can talk about later him saying, "Are you from the North?"
Right.
And asking her directly. Like, he assumes she's a Northerner. But let's move on now to the Baratheons. We have some conflict building between Renly and Stannis. But before we get to that, let's talk about Renly and Littlefinger.
Yes, Littlefinger. Okay, so Littlefinger comes and brings Catelyn Stark Ned Stark's bones.
Right.
But like he enters the tent and right off the bat he's like, "Oh, fate brought us together again." Like right after she's just like, mourning over her husband's death. I'm like, "Dude, like check your game. That's no game at all." To just like bust
Maybe
in
that's
there.
why she fell for Ned.
Yeah,
Son. That's how it happens.
So basically, they're like, for Jaime, we'll give you the girls. And I'm coming to you because you're a mother. That's why I'm not going to Rob.
I mean, this is also kind of different with the bones, too, because what Tyrion has them do is he has the special riders go send it to the fleet with the response of the peace terms. So it's like the
Yeah.
new peace terms, and then they're bringing the bones for good faith. So it's still a good faith thing, but they kind of twisted it around here.
Did
in the show.
Littlefinger actually go visit Renly's camp?
I don't think so.
I don't remember him visiting the camp, that's an interesting change too. I guess they wanted to build up that tension between Catelyn, Stark, and Littlefinger. But I thought Michelle.
But we do have the bones being delivered. That's
Yeah.
still there. They just kind of twisted around how it happened.
I thought Michelle Fairley's acting in the scene was really amazing because, like, it would be so easy. I just loved her restraint because, you know, when a mother is taunted with the idea of seeing her daughters again, it would be really easy to just lose yourself. But she was just so good at restraining her anger and her fear and her just all those emotions that she was feeling.
She does always have this face where you can, it's just some pained face.
Yeah.
Where you can tell things just aren't right with her and she looks grieved, but
Yeah.
not overly so. She's just got that face down, I
Yeah,
guess.
she does. That's like the Catelyn Stark face.
Now, did you guys want to talk about Littlefinger talking to Renly about opening the gate for him potentially too?
There can be a protected siege, or there can be open gates when you come.
Yeah, so he's kind of like trying to play the role of I'm going to protect myself again here because he can basically he could just say whatever he wants to anybody,
Exactly.
make everybody think he's on their side for whatever
Right.
happens.
Which is what he's been doing.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Littlefinger fan.
No.
You're not a big Peter Baelish fan?
No.
Neither am I. I'm not either.
He's just, I don't know. He's
But
sneaky. And
Then we've
nasty.
also got Marjorie
Yes.
here, and she's got. I wrote as my note, her outfit is cray cray.
It is
That was
cray-cray.
the note that I wrote.
have
It's just a big circle thing that's open up there.
I have a friend who
I'm a
says that
fashionista now.
she's praying for it not to rain because she would like drown in that thing if it started to rain or something.
That's awesome. Good thing she's not where Arya was. That would not have been good.
Yeah, right? I think Natalie Dormer is like amazing, and I love how in her interaction with Littlefinger, she's just like not flinching at all. She's like, my king is my husband, and my husband is my king. Now there's your tent.
But I do think it's good to note that Littlefinger did notice. He's
Right.
like always there. He notices like, well, it would seem that it was your brother who is Mr. Loris by chance on your wedding night who was in that tent.
But he's
This is
never
what I
been
hear.
married, so he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
You don't get it. If you're
right.
married, you can. It means you can have sex with my
With
brother.
your
That's
brother.
okay.
Yeah.
For marriage.
At least in
marriage.
Westeros.
And let's go on to the confrontation.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to when Tyrion and Cersei high five over this because they do have, or they're gonna show that high fiving moment. But so we got Renly and Stannis now warring about each other instead of their common enemy.
Right.
Maybe they should hold off for later, but they're not.
Yeah. I love this confrontation in the field. I thought it was pretty much everything that I was hoping it would be. And I think Renly this season is like so much more confident, like
So much more
pompous.
pompous is the word I was thinking too.
Yeah.
He's wearing a pomp. He's got a pomp for a hairdo.
Yeah, he
That's
does.
his new do.
And I love Melisandre's just confidence when she's interacting with Renly too. She's
She's so scary. She's like, look to your sins, Lord Renly. The night is dark and full of terror.
yeah.
So scary.
I do like their little quips back and forth though, where he's the Lord of Salt and Smoke, and Renly's like, "Is he a ham?"
Yes, that was so great. Is he a cured ham?
That was a pretty funny one. But you see, like, they've got this, even though they're brothers, they've got that strong tension. But it's almost like Stannis really doesn't want it to be like that. You can see, and Renly's just holding his ground. But
Well, what do you guys think? Because Stannis really is the rightful heir to the throne, and that's what Ned Stark held to be true. Who do you guys like? Say you're living in Westeros. Who would you want to be king out of those two?
Well, apparently he's a man without friends.
Yeah, which is never good.
So,
I mean, Renly is holding all these awesome tourneys I get to go watch,
Yeah.
and I can watch a giant 6'4" girl beating on the most beautiful man ever. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess like when I think about it, I do think Stannis is the rightful heir, and he's the one who honorably should have it. But I can see why people are backing Renly.
honestly, I would back Renly only because Melisandre, I don't even see Stannis. I only see the red hair. That's all I see. I don't see him as being a person anymore. Maybe
It's
without
a really
her,
good point.
Yeah.
Maybe without her, I could see him being bigger than Renly. But at this point, I'm all on Renly's side.
I mean, knowing what we know about the demon child and everything, I would back Renly. But I guess like if I hadn't known anything, I'd almost want to, because I wouldn't know about Melisandre necessarily being a peasant there or whatever, what have you. I guess I don't know. I'd want to back Stannis, but I guess Renly has a lot to offer, and he looks like he has better odds of winning.
Renly's whole argument about, having friends it's funny because it seems like it would be true.
The people love him.
Yeah, but it's just like friendship means nothing in this world. So like people can turn on the.
That's true. But a man without friends is a man without power, he says.
Yeah, where does power lie again? That's where a lot of the themes of the show has been, is where does power truly lie? That's really what a big theme of the show.
Totally.
Or this season, I should say, is where does power lie?
And that's where men believe it lies.
Right. Where men believe it lies.
So Renly believes it's with his friends, and where does Stannis believe that power lies?
With the rightful heir, in
Melisandre's womb.
Yeah, in Melisandre's
the
womb.
light god.
And in his salt and smoke.
Yeah, in his cured ham.
And his cured ham.
Okay.
But then we get, I guess now let's go back in full circle here to Davos, Seaworth, and the scene with the shadow birth. I mean,
where do we go from there? That's what I want to ask.
I mean, we can see the show is just building up to a lot of crazy things that are going to be happening, because we're just seeing, like, the White Walkers are now finally, like, coming back into the show with the wildlings. We have the dragons are now full throttle here, and now we got the demon child. We got a lot of crazy things coming into the show.
I don't know, when I first saw that shadow baby, like, actually standing there and towering over them, I almost thought it looked like a black White Walker, like a shadow White Walker. And basically the Melisandre's god, now if I'm getting this right, because there's a whole bunch
the god of light.
Right, which is the opposite of the White Walkers, which are darkness and cold. Her god is the god of heat and light. So it's just interesting to me how similar that looked to a White Walker.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, except for, I don't know, had the claws and crawling, I guess.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I don't know. The White Walkers had the blue eyes and look like people in a way.
Right.
So
just as far as like the body and the limbage and stuff.
This looked more skulled. So let's move on now to Targaryens. To Daenerys. We get to see Qarth.
Yeah. Not Qarth.
Not Qarth.
Not Qarth, but Qarth.
Funny that they do correcting of pronunciations even in the show.
I almost thought that was like a slight nod to like fandom and like just making fun of the people who are like always getting on other fans about pronunciation. It's like,
as someone made fun of me for pronouncing Tyrion as Tyrion every now and then. I'm sorry, whatever. Maybe I'm not really that sorry.
Well, the interesting thing to note is that different actors from different regions pronounce names differently.
Right.
Yeah. So there.
Yeah.
Kristen pointed out something awesome about what they refer to the area around Qarth, the Garden of Bones.
Oh, yes, which is the name of the episode, right?
Right. I think that's all I said about it.
Yeah, but I was trying to give you credit here. I was trying to let you take the credit because you were the one who pointed it out while we were watching the show.
I mean, I really like Zaro. I mean, so we find out he was a savage from the Summer Isles, and that's why he kind of, allowed the dragon and Daenerys to come in. And what was that with? I guess it's on him. If anything goes wrong, that's why he cut his hand.
That was the Sumai.
Yeah.
That was the Sumai that he invoked. So this then again, I'm going to point out a little book difference here, which is that in the books we have a whole entire city that they skipped over that Daenerys and crew have found, which was a really cool city that is completely abandoned, and they make encampment there. And instead in the books, they have it so 3 of the people from Qarth come to them to check them out, and then those 3 people lead them to Qarth. So we have it so instead they have kind of just found it on their own, and they're questioned there as opposed to where they're questioned before they get to Qarth in the books. So just a little bit different.
What did you guys think about this sort of square off scene? Because I don't know, I felt like the guy, the Spice King, who's like the ambassador for the 13, it felt a little like I was watching like a kid's movie. Like,
yeah. Was this Aladdin?
Yes. Thank you. That's what it was.
Yes.
It felt like Aladdin to me with his like little smiley thing and his weird.
You kind of just impersonated that perfectly, by the way, in the way that you just did that.
I can't do it again. It's a one-time.
He kind of reminded me of
thing.
Varys too.
Yeah.
Isn't Varys' brother?
I'd say in a way he was a little flamboyant. I
Yeah.
guess, you know?
Absolutely.
Maybe that's why it reminds you of Disney stuff. I guess to you,
Yeah.
you think of flamboyancy as Disney. So.
Yeah, maybe so. And I was also expecting his accent to be a little more like Qarth is this like really exotic city, so I
Right.
wasn't expecting it to be just like straight up British, like with the Scottish sort of accents that we're hearing over in the north with Rob. Like I was expecting like something a little more crazy.
I was expecting it to be even more flamboyant, where you trill those R's,
Yes,
you know?
something like that.
We're here in Qarth. The way he looked.
We have our new Game of Thrones
Trilling
language.
I'm speechless. I feel like I'm still watching the show. It's really strange.
Thank you. I'll give a bow.
Thank you.
So, guys, that pretty much wraps up the show. But before we go on a commercial break, we have a couple special reports to bring you. So,
Really? I think we should go to commercial and then do them.
well, I was saying it before we go to commercial. I was just gonna tease.
Oh.
This is a tease.
That was a tease.
Now let's cut to commercial.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after-shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
I want to buzz about Simone over here getting some exclusive interviewage.
Yeah.
So I interviewed Richard Madden, who plays Robb Stark, this past week, and he's just amazing. Such a nice guy. Like, I've met a couple other people from Game of Thrones, and everyone is just like, I don't know if it's because they're English, but they're just so nice. But I loved talking with him sort of about where Robb Stark has come this season as compared to last season. And something that I thought was really interesting that he said is that Robb is really good. He's getting really good at pretending to be a man or pretending to be a king this season, which just got me thinking about, like,
King of the North!
Exactly. All the people who are pretending in this show. There are so many characters who are pretending to be stronger than they are. So that's just one of the things that I thought was really cool. But you can check out the full interview at winteriscoming.net.
I mean, what were some of the other things he was saying to you? Like, what else did you talk about?
Well, he's been on a world tour traveling around with Jon Snow, a.k.a. Kit Harington, and they've been just going, they partied it up in Miami and promoted the show. Let's see.
I want to be part of that party.
Yeah, right? Little Game
As
of
long
Thrones
as
action.
Joffrey's not invited, not part of the VIP list.
Yeah, right?
We don't know what he does at parties.
No, it's probably involves a crossbow and some couple horse. But he also talked about how much he thinks Robb Stark takes after his dad, and almost he says that Robb Stark would be better off if his dad could have lived for like 10 more years just so he could live under him and sort of learn from him for another like 10 years, which I agree. It's sad that we had to lose Ned Stark.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool interview. I, for some reason, can't think of... I asked him like 10 questions, but I can't think of anything else.
You say they're not filming right now.
Oh, yeah. They're starting to film in July. I was asking him if he's going to be at Comic-Con because he's never been to Comic-Con before, but they're thinking that they might have to go out and shoot season 3 starting in July, so they might not be at Comic-Con.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah, I know.
If you were able to get Comic-Con tickets, which were pretty hard this year.
Ridiculous.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's a cluster.
I'm still going to get there.
Yeah. All right, so Kristen, do you have a report for us as well?
I have an exclusive.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Oh, okay.
I like how
just...
Kristen always seems to get the music and Simone never does.
That is not
ever.
true. I did not get the music last week. She did. Okay, so Emilia Clarke, they actually asked her, you know, have you read all the books? She plays Daenerys Targaryen, in case you guys didn't know. And she's like, no, she's not reading ahead so that she can actually make the journey with her character.
Okay.
Wait, can we point out something then now that we're talking about her?
Go ahead.
Simone, you threw that out first.
Well, I don't know. I'm just reading a couple of things on the internet that say Emilia Clarke might have overacted the scene where she encounters a 13 outside of Qarth. And I don't know. I love Emilia Clarke, but I tend to think she does err on the side of overacting.
You know what? This is where I noticed it the most. It actually kind of took me out of the scene a bit because I noticed that too. And I usually don't tend to notice overacting that much. And I did with this one. I was like... She's like really like, let me think about it. You know,
love your jerky motion.
You know
that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, she really was.
One more thing on the note of what you just said about her reading the books. That was something that I asked Richard Madden about, and he said that he actually has read up to like book 4, and he doesn't mind knowing what's going to happen for his character. He still thinks he's able to sort of stay in the moment when he's acting out those scenes. So
what about you guys? Would you read ahead in the book?
I don't think I could.
No, I don't think so either.
No, it would dictate my choices for that character, like knowing I'm gonna die, you know, or something like that, like huge like that. It would dictate kind of my acting
I
choices.
absolutely agree.
I totally understand why she doesn't do that.
Yeah.
I agree with her choice not to. She also, Cersei, says that it's fun to play a character who isn't trying to be morally good for once. I mean, that would be really fun, right?
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know, but when they were looking for Khal Drogo, they actually went to the Westeros.org forum, and one of the fans actually posted a picture of Jason Momoa.
Yeah?
And that's how they called him in for the casting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That is so crazy.
That gives me hope that Viggo Mortensen could be cast as Mance Rayder. So, you guys, let's do this. Fans out there, I need your help.
So apparently a lot of fans will look at Kit Harington, who plays Jon Snow, and they'll give him a puzzled look because they think that they know him from somewhere. And he said that sometimes they walk up to him and ask him if he's ever read the books Game of Thrones.
Oh my gosh.
They're like, you kind of look like Jon Snow from Game of Thrones.
He said they just ask him if he's read the books, and he says yes.
Maybe they're too shy to ask him if he's like actually on the show.
Right. I guess I would. Probably not. I have a huge crush.
Oh.
Okay.
Raven.
So, Emilia Clarke says that she identifies with the character because Daenerys Targaryen starts out shy, gets confident, and then begins to gain power. And she's a very real character. She identified with the strong and sexy powerfulness of her, and it's like her instinct to survive. So she says it's very easy to play that character, and she sees herself in the role.
Yeah.
I can imagine as a young actress, that would be something that would be easy to identify with. Because, I mean, before this, Emilia was just in theater school and, like, was undiscovered.
Right.
So she's gaining power as her character is.
Apparently, there's a lot of tragedy coming for her in this season, is what she said. And Dan and David, the showrunners and writers, said that they joked that everyone dies in this season and it was all a dream. They said that in one of their last interviews, so hopefully that doesn't happen.
How funny. Okay, it would suck, but it would be almost in a way funny to me if that really did happen. Everyone's like, what?
The only way they're going to do that is if, like, they lose funding or something.
Even though they already got set to season 3 has already been approved and
right.
on the way, but then somehow they did that and everyone's down there like,
It could just be a big
What?
dream sequence. Okay, so somebody asked Kit Harington how he would end this series, and he said he wants to be sitting on the throne. Peter Dinklage said he would end the series with a dance number.
That would be awesome.
And everyone agreed that you realized the show wasn't playing around whenever Jaime pushed Bran out the window. You know you're in a really dark place.
I have to say, I was hoping for a setup or a cliffhanger moment like that to start off this season, because I mean that wasn't that the first episode of last season?
Yeah, that was the first episode.
Just thrust you into it, and everyone got hooked. So
absolutely.
Yeah, you also had the head get chopped off for the guy who ran away from the White Walkers, and the White Walkers seen in the first episode.
And Jon Snow said he still doesn't know who his mother is. One last thing, guys. Which do you think would have been better? A TV series like we're seeing, or a series of films?
I'm gonna go with TV series because there's just so much. And like Lord of the Rings made sense because they did do a good job of condensing it, and those books weren't as long as this. But there's just so much politics in this series that I think that's why you need to do it the way they did. Plus, I like having more content. So you know what? I get more content to enjoy. TV show.
I mean, I agree with that, but I'm just thinking about all the blood that we would actually get to see in the films, and if it was, I don't know, you know, it's hard because I feel like it would kind of make things a lot darker if they had the budget of a film.
It's just hard to imagine all of season 1 though being condensed to 2.5 hour
maybe not.
movie.
You know, maybe they could have had like 7 movies or whatever,
like Harry Potter style or something.
Exactly.
Well,
I could see that.
It would be 7 movies because there's 7 books, but still be season 1 was 1 book, so that would be all of that somehow in one. I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine. I guess if they did a good job at it, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I don't know. The budget is the only reason I say that. I mean, I really like the TV show so far, but in this episode specifically, me not getting as far as I'd like to in the books at this point, I'm kind of like, I don't know. It's hard for me to follow all the storylines. I love the show, don't get me wrong, but at this point, I'm just kind of like, I need to fast forward in the books so I can understand what's happening. And for viewers who are not reading the books, I can't imagine.
I know.
Oh, yeah. I know. It's got to be really hard. I mean, I think the only reason I can keep up a lot of times is because I've been reading the books. Yeah. And I think it's gotten even more confusing this season. Last season, not so much, but this season seems more confusing.
Yeah.
You know what? I think they're trying to put too many characters into it. I feel like they should eliminate maybe Stannis' story or somebody like that. I don't know.
Well, the problem is, like, characters that seem minor now turn into bigger characters later on. So it's like, and there's so many characters that do die. It's like, if you get rid of, I don't know. I imagine that the writers and producers have a very tough job of trying to sift through it. And for that, I would have to agree and say, I think it's better as a TV show. Also because of the pacing. Like, I can't imagine watching like season 1 is a movie, season 2 is a movie. I just think the pacing, it could get so boring because, I mean, a lot of the shows are just like dialogue and sort of like confrontation, so.
That's true.
Which are big and built up here. All right, well, do you want to
I would like
give
to
some
throw some shout-outs to some of our fans. On YouTube, Small McLittle Tiny, I like that. Wild Onizi, Gelb Worshipper. We got Sarah 1994, Sean Nessel, Shane WTF, I don't know. Lane Bats 26.
Shane WTF.
PD Thigh. And from iTunes, we have Mad Mimi 60, Arnie Weiland, 5 Outs Away, Corvette Guy 41, Indigo Daydreamer, and to Mar Socod on YouTube. I just want to say yes, werewolves. Only he will understand.
That's okay. And I want to say to Wild Onizi, Tamara Pierce for the win. I totally agree. Totally agree. And Sarah, 1994 Sarah. We're going to mention you again because I just want to throw out, that's how I pronounce your name, is Sarah.
That's how she spells it.
That's how you spell it. And Dave Anarchy and Sunday 20 both mentioned they like our dancing, so we better dance it up.
Snap.
Dance it up on this outro. So,
guys, please keep commenting and rating. We love talking to you. We love bringing you up, and we will respond if you talk to us.
Yes, but let's go to predictions now.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
About that.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so we're gonna see some more Arya and maybe Tywin and the whole cupbearing thing, and I don't know how that's gonna play out. I mean, gotta wonder if that's gonna be weird.
How long can they play dumb? I'm surprised they haven't figured it out already. They were looking for her.
Well, I don't know. I guess there's a bunch of little greasy, like, King's Landing rats running around that look like her.
But now that they figured out she was a girl pretending to be a guy, and he's like, oh, why would you be disguised as a boy? I'm just kind of like, come on.
That's a good point. I never really thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, that does, especially in that scene, it made it seem like...
they were looking for her.
Okay. But at the same time, I guess, like, if you've never met her before, how would you know what she looks like? And it could be any girl ever.
Yeah.
Even just a little, like, you wouldn't happen to be Arya Stark, would you? Something like that would at least acknowledge, like, okay, you know what I mean?
It would be pretty funny if he said that. She's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little panic scene like that.
Yeah.
So then we got Stannis, which the whole victory will be Melisandre's is told to him and warned to him. And, I mean, I guess we're going to get to see that shadowling. And,
the shadow babe.
The shadow baby in action next episode.
I'm excited to see Daenerys, not to change the subject.
No, totally.
Yeah, and we're going to get to see more of Qarth, which will be fun, I think.
But Daenerys is, like, convincing the people that the time to strike is now. And it just seems like everyone's time to strike is right now.
Yeah.
So I really hope that next week we really see swords banging around.
I think things are going to go crazy.
It better.
Because we also get to find out from the previews that apparently the Greyjoys are striking.
Whoa.
So, yeah, just
we're under
they're really bringing this out.
You're getting dangerously close to a spoiler there, Dave.
No, that's not a spoiler, okay? All I'm saying is that they warned that someone is attacking in the preview, and the only one who's going for the north is the Greyjoys. So, I mean, you know.
It's not a spoiler. You're right.
All I'm doing is saying what the predictions are saying, okay?
No, that's crazy. I guess I didn't really imagine that that the Greyjoys would be coming that soon.
Yeah, I didn't either. I mean, apparently they're coming next episode, if that's right. I mean, maybe there's something else they're going to throw out there, but it looks like next episode.
All right.
So, guys, once again, I am Dave Klein, and you can find me on Twitter at @TheDaveKlein or at www.djk-online.com.
And I'm Simone Boyce. You can find me online on Twitter at Simone Boyce and also on youtube.com/Simone D. Boyce, where you can find my Game of Thrones recaps.
I'm Kristen Snyder, and you can Google Cinematic Escape, or you can follow Cinematic Escape on Twitter.
Makes it so easy. And what about Marissa in the booth?
Where can we find you, Marissa?
Hey, I'm on Twitter at Marissa Movies. That's MARISA Movies at Twitter.
All right.
See you guys next week.
It's the armor dance now.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.